Blessings and welcome. My name is Tuesday Mae Thomas. I'm so grateful to be here with you today. I'm an author, a speaker, and a master Reiki teacher. I'm in the process of creating a multi-level platform through which I can offer my readers and subscribers links to free ebooks and guided meditations and such. And in the meantime, I really appreciate you coming online and spending time with me, watching my videos, sharing my videos, and being open to the messages that I do share. Every month, I do a general reading with the Osho Zen Tarot deck, and that's what we're going to be doing today. And generally, the readings go for the 8th of one month to the 8th of the next. And again, I'm using the Osho Zen Tarot deck. And I've been using as a finishing card the Mayan Oracle deck, just the lenses portion. And today, I'm guided to use the numbers portion. So it's a small portion of the deck in all, and we'll pull one of those at the very end to cast a guiding light over the overall reading. Every month I do the reading slightly different. It's completely guided. It's fun. I don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. We kind of hang out and we see. I am very strongly guided to break this reading up into 3 realms. And the first realm is to inquire as to what may be holding us back from letting go. Letting go has been a theme. It was a huge theme last year, and we had all these eclipses and all these opportunities to really release what's been holding us back, whether it's habits, addictions, patterns, anger, triggers, relationships, the ways that we've been living our life that are not in alignment with our greatest joy and our greatest truth. So with respect to that, let's call in the highest love and light of creation. Oh, a chunk of cards already fell out. We will definitely use those. And I will ask this love and light of all creation to imbue me with the wisdom that embodies the greatest teachings that these cards are here to give all of us today. Okay, so with regard to letting go, what is there that we can continue letting go of? How might we be served in understanding how we can let go of it? And any other divine wisdom that can serve us in releasing which no longer serves. We are so grateful to receive your wisdom. Divine Osho Zen Tarot deck. Oh, okay, we got a popper. We got a popper and we're going to use it. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Oh, wow. Okay, so the first card is guilt. This is mega. What can we let go of? Guilt. Look at her. This is really, really, really profound. She's holding her head, obviously in pain because her mind is driving her crazy. Dark clouds hover overhead. And it's almost like she's clutching at her crown, at her head, at her brain, at her mind that's thinking and thinking. And so are several other hands. Right? She's just on the lockdown. This guilt is clawing at her literally. She's in a lot of pain. And the irony is that above her, as you see, there's violet skies. There's purple skies, there's violet skies with beautiful small white little flowers. And so the violet skies represent the truth that perfection is always present, and highlights the aspect that guilt is not real, and that guilt is that which keeps us separated. It keeps us separated from our higher self. It keeps us separated and out of the present moment where our full power is. And it keeps us separated from embodying our perfect health, our perfect joy, and also from hearing the still small voice that is as a constant whispering to us and inviting us to embody it in our fullness. So letting go of guilt, what other aspects, what other areas of your life can you release guilt from? Is it something from the past? Is it guilt that has to do with sexuality and sex? Is there guilt that is not your own guilt, but that has been given to you from your lineage, from your ancestry, from your parents, from your religion, from the customs or traditions that your family perhaps have brought you up? Is the guilt real? In many metaphysical teachings, guilt is not real. Guilt is an illusion. And only that which binds, love, is the truth. And so what we're being invited to do here at the beginning of this reading is to consider those areas of our life where we are still holding guilt for one reason or another, and allow ourselves to, in one hand, simply be clear that there is an aspect within us that might have or hold guilt, which is also the same as shame and blame. And really anywhere where fear is housed in the body, in the mind, in the emotional realm of being, and what is ready to be released. What is ready to come up and to go. And how might you serve yourself in healing that? And sometimes it's just as easy as becoming aware of that which we've been housing. And simply that light being placed there upon those past issues, those people, those places, those things, help to unearth it and to bring it to light. And simply taking that first step is often all we need to do, and the next step is revealed from that. But it's paying attention and being present and being open to doing that work, right, in the first place. So if that resonates with you, right, it's time to go past the guilt, past the anger, past the shame, past the torture. This person does not look comfortable. This person does not look very comfortable at all. They're not in their power. They're not in their peaceful space. They're not in their self-mastery. They are not attuned and aligned with their pure power and potential. Right? And guilt and shame and pain and blame and anger and fear will do that to us. Those hands gripping and clawing at our head, that's exactly what those energies do, is that they claw at us, they grip at us, they take a hold, they root in us. And unless we decide that that energy has no place to take hold in us, it will continue to do so, and those roots will grow deeper and deeper and deeper. But know that the good news is that once you acknowledge, if that is coming up for you, once you acknowledge that that is a possibility, again, simply acknowledging it brings light to it. And the next step that you might take in healing that aspect, or in coming to terms, transmuting it, alchemating it from fear to love, you'll be guided in your own way and in your own tradition. Maybe it's through prayer, maybe it's through chanting, maybe it's through writing an energy letter and burning it, maybe it's through floating in a float tank, maybe it's through, all of the above, and several different ways of doing it, or calling that person up, or meditating and calling their higher self in, and having a good old conversation with them. Sending love to the past, to a person, place, or situation is also very powerful. Now, with this, in letting go, so it's one thing to say, okay, I'm going to let go, I'm going to let God, I'm going to let go, I'm going to heal this part of my life, the past of my life. There's also a time frame, right? Even though time is an illusion, it's a part of the illusion, part of the matrix, if you will, part of the grid frame. It doesn't really exist. The now moment is where the truth is. With that, while we are third-dimensional bodies living in this 3D world, there is a beckoning to learn mastery and to learn how to bend and flow and breathe and practice patience. Okay? So often I will have clients or students or friends that are going through a tough time in their life, and they'll just say, like, I just want this to be done with. I just get this anger out of me. I can't even hold this guilt anymore. I just want it out, And there's this haste, because see, that's the thing, right? Is that once you realize, like, I've been holding on to all this stuff for X amount of years or this long of time, and you're like, how do I get rid of it? I'm so ready to be free of it. The mystical blessing is that you put that there in the first place. You co-created those conditions, those teachings, those teachers, so that you can learn self-mastery and learn how to practice love over fear. And sometimes the teaching, the blessing, the healing happens in a miracle, holy instant moment. Sometimes there's a learning curve and we get to practice patience. Now, the learning curve always is an offerer and a giver of gifts. So there's always important stuff happening in the invisible realms of your being, mind, body, and emotions when the learning curve takes a little bit longer. We just went through a very massive new moon in Pisces. There was an eclipse. There's so much happening astrologically, and I'm not an astrologer, but I follow astrology and I find it so juicy. And it's such a good addition to all of these other modalities to understand a greater scope of what's maybe happening in your realm of healing or growth, and just your spiritual comeuppance, if you will. So understand that as we identify those things that we are dislodging, that we are working to heal, working to transmute, once that light is on them, yes, the next step will be given way, right? Again, or it could just be released like that. At the same time, it's seeing what is there and what is to be healed, perhaps, right? Or what is to be released, made peace with, if you will, forgiven. That's a big one. And also letting go of any time frame that it needs to happen in for you to think that you can be happy and be at peace. So the invitation is to allow yourself to experience peace now by simply knowing, by simply sitting with the knowing of like, oh wow, I've been holding this anger for so long. I've been holding this resentment towards this person or towards myself for so long. Okay, eureka, this is it. That's the first step. From there, practicing the patience that it takes for those synapses to unravel within you, for those feelings, for all of those chain reaction, those triggers, emotional, mental, to unconnect from each other. It's a practice, it's a training, it's a teaching. And that's why patience is important, right? Masters know that time doesn't exist, and they are the greatest at exemplifying and embodying patience because they know that as something gets worked out and healed and brought to its highest order, it's not only serving them, it's serving a higher good. So your issues, as they become resolved, are working themselves out, not just for your well-being, so that you can feel safe or feel happy or feel at peace again, but also it's all the people, places, and things that you're connected to throughout all time and space, that is a part of the matrix, that is the grid system that we're going to get into so much juicier, so much deeper in this next year. I'm so excited. Woo! But just as a little teaser, just understand that that's the stuff that's not real. The stuff that's real is you in your full power, in your full potential, in your full authority, which I always say is you being a master of your time and space, which is all about you having the spiritual will to choose love over fear, but not just once, over and over and over and over again. That's the repetitive way that you roll, is to be a channel of love and light. You hear that? Or you hear that? It came from out there. Someone just turned their car motor on. I love those little synchronicities. So cool. Okay. Interesting, because again, so just to drive this home, right next to patience, and we've had these two characters before, is sharing. And sharing is so beautiful. And these are feminine aspects, you know. Just because you're a male doesn't mean that you're without them. We all have the male and the female aspects within us. And look at this beautiful goddess here. She's so shining. Can you see it? It might be a little bit fuzzy. And she has a platter of fruits, like a cornucopia of juicy, juicy fruits, a candle that's shining. Look at the radiance from that candle. Look at, she's just draped in gold and flowers and sunshine, and she's smiling and she's abundant. Her fabrics are flowing. She's got this juicy burgundy crimson halo full of sunflowers and just juicy earthy energy around her. It's a card of fire, sharing. So there is something innately within you that once you release the guilt, the pain, the shame, the anger, the fear, and allow that process to happen, to take place, so that you truly are healed, not just so that it's extracted and it comes back again later, but so that you truly get to the core and reframe and reconfigure the way you're doing life, so that as you move forward, you don't have to revisit that any longer. And without those aspects, what is there but more truth, the truth of you, to be shared in the world? And this is really a huge gift, you embodying your truth. And I was just talking to a friend earlier today about the onion layers, right? There's all these layers in healing that we go through. And the trick is that as these layers in the onion come up for us to work on, our stuff comes up, our triggers, our issues, our pain, our fears, our addictions, all that stuff. If we really do the work, if you have a few tools, if you know a few modes, mediums, meditations, Reiki, going to nature, cleansing yourself, doing a fast, whatever all the things are. But if you work consciously, journaling, writing your energy letters, all your sort of stuff, to seal your aura with love and light, to connect to love and light, to God, to source, whatever name you give it, but it's a repetitive exercise. It's not just doing it once thing, it's the accumulation of that spiritual will, is strengthening that muscle, again, to be able to choose love over fear with ease, repetitively, not just once, but over and over and over again. And the more that we badass do this, as each level and each layer of the onion arises, right, that eventually that layer of the onion falls away, peels away, and you're left to just like groove in your life with this like new awareness, right, of like, ooh, I'm free. I feel so free from that past stuff that I was carrying around, that baggage, if you will. And then perhaps the cycles, the spiral around, and it comes back around, that issue or that invitation to see, well, who are you now? Can you still be as patient as you were last year when this issue came up? Can you still practice that mastery? Here's the lesson again. How are you going to show up? Here's a deeper level to the onion that we're peeling. Who are you going to be here? How are you going to show up? And if we've done the work if we've sincerely shown up and done the best that we can to master our life, our hearts, our love, our truth to the degree that we can, when that last layer of the onion came up for peeling, then each consecutive layer that shows up becomes easier and easier and easier to peel. That's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. So you're going to do you however you're guided to do you, whatever serves you, right? But you're also guided to know and to understand that if you go in sincerely, and you can always ask for help, right? Some people believe in angels, the Holy Spirit, the Buddhas, ascended masters, whatever it is for you, your fairies, whatever it is, you can call on them to help you. You don't have to do it all on your own. It could just be your friends, your family, your community, your brothers, your sisters, whatever. But you can ask for help, right? So that space can be held for you as you take that brave step into becoming what you are. And the sharing this is where the real badassery is, because you know what's right next to her? This beautiful equanimity of the master, right? You can't see it. I don't know why it got covered up. These are kind of old, 20-something years old. But here's the master, and this is Osho himself, right? If you're an Osho fan, you'll be like, oh, that's him. What's up, Osho? Okay, so here he is, and this is like one of the, highest cards in the deck. Boom, there's the master, and look at the moon right over the master's head. This is fully connected to the intuitive realms, to the realms that are invisible from us in the 3D realm, right? So this is us existing as a master in the world. And all we had to do was get over our stuff, learn grace and the teachings from those teachers, from those past experiences, so that we may share either those teachings that we've learned with others, or come to share greater the truth that is always within us. And really, it's in that sharing of that truth that mastery lays. That's your mastery, is you showing up in your full light, in your full love. That's another initiation, right? There's a saying that's one of the people's greatest fears, is to actually show up and shine their light to its fullest capacity. What's going to happen then when you really show up and when you really plug in and really light up? The whole world changes, because you change you from the inside out. And that's what this is all about. And this is so exciting, because you already are the master, and you get to come back to remembering that you are that. Okay, here we go. We're going to move on to the next piece. So very important, right? Any last little glimmerings of shame, pain, anger, it's time. It's time. Let's let those go. Let's work to release those aspects so that we can find out who we are without all that stuff, without that darkness, without that heaviness, that pain. The pain could be physical, it could be mental, emotional, it could be psychic pain, but that's all, it's all connected, and it's all the same pain. And as you start to work on it from one level, the other levels begin to be worked on too. So it's just about starting. It's just about saying yes to love, yes to healing, yes to self-level. The other levels begin to be worked on too. So it's just about starting. It's just about saying yes to love, yes to healing, yes to self-love, right? And self-acceptance and surrender. Surrender. So what's our highest guidance now in this month? So we're going to assume that we are going to practice our self-mastery and dismantling and healing and releasing those ties from the past that bind us, so that we can be that full master. And what is our guidance as we move into mastery? What is our guidance? Osho Zen Tarot deck. What is your divine guidance for us in this next month period? Okay. Ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay. Very interesting. So the first card that pops out, and we've had him before, the mind. I think they're related. They definitely look related. Oh my God, look at this. Okay. So just take a little look here. If you've seen my videos before, you're familiar with him, because he makes a little appearance every once in a while. The mind, a gray card, card of the mind, card of the clouds. The mind is like the clouds. They're just passing. But you know what? If we don't do our practices that help to relieve the mental wheels that keep spinning and spinning and spinning, that kind of drive us crazy after a point, because we get run ragged, then we lose connection to the master within. The master is silent. I mean, look at how different these two are. The master is silent. The master is attuning, is meditating, is connecting with something higher than itself. In this case, the moon, right? It's the master's reflecting. The master's receiving information, receiving downloads. This, too much thinking, right? I have a yoga teacher, or years ago, Ruth Lawler in New York. If you know her, you love her too, I'm sure. And she used to say, the students in her class with her teacher, she studied in India, and they used to go, "Teacher, I'm thinking too much. What do I do? How do I get through this?" And the teacher would say, "No thinking." And they'd be like, "But how do I do no thinking? How do I no thinking?" No thinking. And it's just almost like a riddle, but eventually you begin to just like rest with this notion of no thinking and become uncomfortable with it until you become comfortable with it. And of course you practice, you meditate, you do your yoga, you breathe, whatever your things are, to even consider that space. And what happens is, in the no thinking space, that's actually where all the juicy power is. That's where all the secrets are, is in the nothingness, is in the space in between the thoughts. Not in the thoughts. It's not in thinking. You're not going to figure your healing out by overthinking it. Right? That's why we give it to God. That's why we give it to the Holy Spirit. That's why we ask for help from the angels or from the medicine Buddha or whatever it is. That's why we do our Reiki. We're calling in and invoking something that is connected to that which is greater than us to help serve in healing and bringing about the correct conditions so that our body, mind, emotions can recalibrate in alignment, in their greatest alignment with love and light, so that we can remember this truth that we are the master. So, what do we do to get out of our minds? We meditate. Do you meditate? Have you ever meditated? Maybe you have a regular practice. If you do, you know the power that it bestows. Being still, being silent, breathing. And I know sometimes for some students, meditation at the very beginning is very grueling because all you are met with is thought after thought after thought after thought. And I've actually had students who are like, I don't want to meditate because all I get is this, and this drives me crazy. So I'm not going to meditate. And so the story goes. Yet, again, just like our issues that call for our healing, those voices and those words and those replays in our mind that come up in meditation, they're just always going to be there. And so as you learn to sit with them, it's like a yoga pose. Some yoga poses are more uncomfortable than others, but as you learn to breathe and make proper adjustments, because we're not talking about no pain, no gain, we're talking about learning how to adjust yourself in uncomfortable conditions. We create the correct conditions within ourselves so that we can be present. We learn how to breathe in those uncomfortable spaces. We learn how to breathe as we heal our lives. We learn how to breathe in these uncomfortable spaces, in these spaces that we've pushed down, the anger, the pain, the fear. And some of us have been through some really awful trauma. You know, at the same time, though, pain is pain. And everyone's trauma is as juicy and painful to them as the next person's trauma, even if we on the outside could look in and say, well, that doesn't look as bad as that thing. But to each person, it's just as powerful and just as difficult, you know, to their own degrees for wherever we're at. So without judgment, the guidance is to learn how to be quiet, to learn how to be still. And you see this figure is naked sitting on a lotus leaf, like basically stargazing, just like the master. This is a higher arcana card in the deck, which means it's got a lot of juice, it's got a lot of power, which means that anytime these higher arcana cards come up, the vortexes are open for you to explore yourself in these realms. So, in other words, the gateway is clear. If you've never meditated before, or if you used to meditate and you've fallen off the horse, you want to get back on, what it speaks to is that aspects are aligned this month for you to dive back into those practices that you maybe feel can really serve you and your well-being, and your ability to get back into them will be with greater ease for whatever the alignments are this month through the cards. It's showing us, like, again, like in the beginning with the healing, all you have to do is show up and take the first step. The next step will be revealed. But it's paying attention, being open and listening. So, meditating. This figure is naked. And the nudity speaks to you being naked. And I don't mean without your clothes on. I mean when you close your mouth and you turn off the mind. Who's there? Who's there? It's you. But it's not the you that you think you are. It's the expanded you, the you that is the one that is creation, that is source. And when we allow ourselves time and space to go there, to create space for that oneness, to practice meditation and these other things that help us to align in those ways, each time we do, and each time we have a little, even the smallest sense of connecting with peace, with that oneness, with that unity consciousnness, we bring that back into this world with us. And it infiltrates, maybe there's a better word from that. It soaks and absorbs into every aspect of our being. And so we're able to bridge every adventure and every maybe trying circumstance that comes to us in our lives from that peaceful place. And you know, it's in my book. I'll be launching my book, The Reiki Apprentice, later this year. I'm so excited about it. I'm also going to be having a live YouTube show. It's going to be later in this year, but it's all in the works. And why am I telling you this? Oh, I'm telling you this because there's this scene where the main character is meditating, or she's trying to meditate. And all she experiences is thought after thought after thought of judgment. She just keeps identifying all these thoughts where she's judging all these people that she's met. But another part of her knows that it's not the truth. She recognizes that it's her mind that has to create all these judgments and these separation and whatever about their hair, about this person, how they were dressed, about that, just all these things that help to separate and not create union. And she asks the universe, she's like, how do I get over this? I want to meditate, but my mind is driving me crazy. What do I do? And she hears a voice that says, every time you hear a judgment, every time you see a judgment, erase it and place love there. And over time, she learns through discipline. Again, you build up the muscle, you build up the spiritual will, but she learns how to place love there, and it becomes a habit, a healthy habit, a good habit, where she places love over and over and over again through her vision, through her word, through her thoughts, and ultimately it becomes a bridge of healing for her later down the line. So you're invited, right? If you have problems sitting still and your mind is driving you crazy with judgments or anything that feels negative, toxic, or that it's limiting you about yourself or others, erase it and put love there. Place love there. Place love here. Whether it's the word love, the feeling of love, a beam of light, whatever it is. And what that's doing is that's not only erasing and place love there like just in an imaginary realm in your mind, but it literally is doing that through the matrix of the universe, through the grid of the universe that connects us all, that you are individually connected to. And as that grid in the matrix is erased and love is placed there where there used to be, or there was, or could be a judgment, instead there is love. And as that love is placed there, you are recalibrating your synaptic connections that would usually lean towards judgment, lean towards limitation or negativity. And so you're teaching your body-mind how to reconnect and calibrate love. And then as your mind is calibrated and connecting with love, with choosing love over fear or judgment, separation, etc., it teaches your body chemistry how to relax. And relaxation is where it's all at. Relaxation is heaven on earth. As we learn to relax, sober. I love drinking wine. I love wine. But what I'm talking about is as we learn how to practice sober relaxation, meditation, being in nature, and not even smoking weed. I'm talking sober, clean, clear, nothing. Just being clear and breathing and just being. And as we learn to relax on that sober level, everything inside of us changes and everything outside of us changes for the highest good of all. And it doesn't mean you can't enjoy your glass of wine or your smoke or whatever you do, but what I'm inviting you to stop blurring the lines. I did it for years. Stop blurring the lines. exercise your mastery, your willpower in, because we're talking about existence here, right? Exercise your mastery and willpower in creating dedicated, focused, specific times and spaces where you will devote a practice to sober being through meditation, through being silent, practicing silence. Also on that mountain, for the first time ever, that character experiences a week of silence where she goes for 7 days without speaking. That's a big one. Some people talk a lot. I know I'm talking a lot right now because I'm doing the reading for you. But some people talk a lot. And you know, when we talk a lot, what do you think? It's exhausting. It's exhausting for your own mind and body, and it's exhausting for people around you. So learn how to breathe, how to be mindful of your word. It'll give you more energy. It'll give you more energy, and it'll infuse your environment with more energy. And you'll learn how to be comfortable naked as the true existence you are, right? That's another part of mastery. And the beautiful thing that ties this all in is that as we begin to embody self-mastery, share our juicy love and light and our gifts in the world, and learn to relax and connect with cosmos and what lies beyond cosmos in greater and beautiful ways, what's left but these beautiful cards of emotions, celebration and going with the flow. Going with the flow. Look at that. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to change. There's nothing to attack. There's nothing to defend. Your emotional body, your emotional being is relaxed. And as you learn how to relax and connect with that which is greater than yourself, learn how to heal your life. Learn how to heal your mind, how to place love versus placing fear, how to house love versus housing fear, how to share your love, how to be patient through your healing times too. These are all amazing teachers that ultimately are leading us back to ourselves in our greatest love, light, beauty, joy, and health. That is the truth in our hearts, whatever that is for you. And as we learn to do that and let go of needing to control how life shows up for us, or when life shows up for us, when love shows up for us, how people, places, things show up for us, as we learn to just drop it and trust source, trust the divine timing of all that is, trust God, trust yourself. Everything gets taken care of for you. When you release the need to control things, there's an intelligence. It's called love. But there is a great intelligence in this universe. Marianne Williamson talks about it. It's the intelligence, the source energy that causes what we think are the planets to, rotate through this solar system that we call. It's what beats our hearts within us. It's what moves the blood in our bodies. You don't think about it. There's a divine intelligence that's got that. It's taking care of it. So relax and let the divine intelligence, the love of all creation, heal your body. Give your love to the Most High. Give your body, rather. You can give your love too, but give your body, those parts of your body that needs healing, to the Most High, whatever name you give it. Give your mind, those mental addictions that beat you up, that limit you, that cause pain, more pain to be housed in the body. Give them over to something greater than yourself, to your angels, to your guides, again, whoever it might be, the Buddhas. The emotional strain that you might be feeling, give it over. I did a workshop a week or so ago, a Reiki workshop here, and it was very, very powerful. I'll put the videos up. I can't remember if it's this side or this side, but there will be a link somewhere up there. And one is an introduction to Reiki. They're only like 15 minutes long. And the other one is about forgiveness in Reiki. And it's really, really powerful. I'm a Course in Miracles student, and in A Course in Miracles, forgiveness is our only function. And forgiveness, I love the way our teacher talks about forgiveness. She very simply sums it up that forgiveness is non-judgment. Please watch that video, that forgiveness in Reiki video. Even if you don't do Reiki or anything, it's mostly, we're breaking down forgiveness and resentment, and how those qualities of resentment and unforgiveness really keep us in the past. They keep us hostage. Whereas all the qualities that are aligned with forgiveness free us into the present moment. And that's where your gifts are. That's where you are your most powerful. That's where your perfect health is. That's where your abundance is. You want money? Learn how to relax. And it's not even about money, but it's just that everything gets taken care of by a higher order and a higher intelligence. You don't have to stress about the rent. You don't have to stress about making ends meet when you let it go and give it to something greater than yourself. And you follow the divine guidance like a master that you maybe get in your meditations. There's another prayer in A Course in Miracles, which I love, which, it's a prayer to God, but whatever God is to you, or you take it or leave it. But basically the prayer is, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say, and to whom? And it's a big one, because we are trained and told that we need to figure everything out. We need to do everything. We need to, right? And that prayer is basically saying, like, higher source, higher power, I'm going to give it to you. You tell me what to do. You tell me where to show up, and you tell me what to say. And it's inviting us to trust in that higher power. And I tell you, I've been studying that course for 2 years now, and my entire life has changed. And I've been through some of the most, I don't even have words for it, but probably the most magnificently horrific things in my life since I started studying the course. And without that mind training that the course is, I don't think I'd be sitting here smiling right now. Very powerful. And smiling we are, because when we get it by letting it go, what is left but celebration? Celebration. Look at these women. And again, this theme of like this juicy feminine energy. When the goddess feels safe, when the goddess is freed to be her full juiciness, look at this. It is freedom. It is liberation. There's dancing. There's water, playful water. Again, the emotions, card of the blue, emotions. There's dancing. There's smiling. There's leaves flowing, puddles under their feet. Freedom, beauty, nature, joy, sensuality, being alive. That's one of the greatest gifts of being a human, of being a body, even though we're not a body. But of having a body in this lifetime on this earth is this whole sensual world. There's so many sensual, juicy aspects that we get to embody, that we get to use our senses to enjoy, right? And ultimately, in our spiritual metaphysical studies, we learn that we are not our senses. And the senses, keep us locked into the matrix, into the grid system. Yet, as we ascend and we heal the issues and the triggers that keep us locked to the dark side of the matrix and the grid, that keep us a victim, as we dismantle all that stuff, then we learn that we can play here. Life, again, heaven on earth. We bridge heaven on earth through our beings, and life becomes completely different. It's a very, very different place to be, to play, to exist, to share in, to be loved in, and to love. And that's what you're invited to do in this next month, is to further calibrate those aspects within yourself. It's so exciting. Okay, we're going to go on our final card, the numbers cards from the Mayan Oracle deck, which I love, but I don't know it off by heart, so I don't. I need to use the book for it. So, okay, Mayan Oracle, what is your most high divine guidance I love these number cards too, because they really kind of just sum things up, and they give us a real powerful summary, of how to like move forward, put it all together, and a guideline. So let's see what card. Here we go. I don't know. What is it? Organic balance. I feel like we just won something. It's organic balance. Okay. Let's check it out. Okay. This is, here we go. Organic balance. Organic balance emerges from who you are in all dimensions. The stars, too, have roots. Qualities: receptivity, ability to respond, dynamic equilibrium, roots in many dimensions, and fluidity. 6 is the ray of organic balance, the dynamic equilibrium of the foundation of self combined with the one point of unity. Organic balance is an active process, not a static or fixed state. Drawing this card indicates that whatever you have become static, Drawing this card indicates that wherever you have become static or fixed, be willing to look at balance with the larger picture in mind. Balance is rooted in the totality of who you are. Let your receptive roots run deep, grounding your ability to respond in this world. Bring your essence self into your present expression. Aliveness is derived from essence. You are the unity that creates organic balance. You are free to choose, respond, give, and receive. 6 asks you to respond to life with love, to bring heaven to earth through your embodiment of the 6-pointed star. Isn't that interesting? I'll share about that here shortly. Embody the divine light in your human form. As you are infused with the vibration of heaven, heaven is brought to earth. As you journey homeward, earth is brought to heaven. Thus is created organic balance, heaven and earth in symbiotic union. Okay, this is too much. If you watched my January reading, which was very, very long, but I break down basically, I am a self-acclaimed heaven on earth ambassador, and I'm writing books all about bridging heaven and earth through our being. And, I got to put my glasses back on. And it's so amazing that this comes up again, because the first Mayan oracle card that I pulled at the end of that reading was all about bridging heaven and earth. So this is super, super cool. A few things I want to talk about. Dynamic equilibrium. So whether we're, again, working on healing parts of the past, cultivating the patience for that healing to come to its fruition, or learning to embody self-mastery and learning how to meditate and getting through the issues of the mind that might be there, right? Learning that dynamic equilibrium is a part of the teaching. It's learning how to do it all. Learning how to do it all without stress, right? There's no stress, there's no strain, and there's no doing it right or wrong. There's just taking that first step. Right, organic balance is an active process, not a static or fixed state. So change, right, is constantly occurring, and it's our ability to create the correct conditions within ourselves to flow, like that going with the flow, to flow with change, right, by allowing ourselves to be changeable, by attuning with the truth that we are really unchangeable. It's a paradox, it's a riddle. You either get it or you don't, and you will, and you will. Okay. Balance is rooted in the totality of who you are. Let your receptive roots run deep, grounding your ability to respond in this world. So again, being that master, embodying, practicing, doing those things that will help you find that relaxed state of being so that you can show up for yourself. It's for yourself first and foremost. And then be that in the world. Aliveness is derived from essence. Aliveness. Those 3 goddesses dancing at the end of that reading and just like just breathing and being unabashed, just free of chains that bind. That's what's calling us. And this is a trip, right? Because you are the unity that creates organic balance. You are free to choose, respond, give, and receive. 6 asks you to respond to life with love, to bring heaven to earth through the embodiment of the 6-pointed star. Now, it doesn't say that it's referring to the Merkaba, but I'm going to assume that it is, because it speaks to me that this week I'm going to be recording a video for the Merkaba meditation. I'll be doing a little intro video to it, and also a video with the finger mudras, the eye movements, and everything, the whole guided meditation, so you can put it on and follow along. And it's very, very powerful meditation exercise. There's a lot of them out there. Please be mindful. Follow Drunvalo Melchizedek. He is the grandfather and keeper of the true origins of this sacred practice. In the meantime, I'm so grateful, and I thank you, and I bless you, and thank you for subscribing. I'm so grateful. I'm just so excited to build up my following, my subscribership on YouTube, and I'm excited to keep you informed of all the juicy free offerings and just invites I'm going to have for you as this year continues. May you feel blessed. May you be blessed. Namaste.